Welcome to Anaconda's four-wheel drive bucket list series, the ultimate guide to Australia's most epic four-wheel drive destinations. We're Daniel and Bianca from Explorebound, and today we're exploring the Flinders Ranges in South Australia. Whether camping beneath endless stars, hiking into the wild, or tracing history's footsteps, the Flinders Ranges is a truly unique four-wheel drive destination worthy of any bucket list. Hey guys, I'm Daniel.
And I'm Bianca.
And we've been traveling Australia full-time in our four-wheel drive setup, sleeping in our trusty rooftop tent, living out of a DIY canopy build, and exploring some of the most beautiful and unique locations Australia has to offer.
We absolutely have. And one of those places we thought we'd walk you through today is the Flinders Ranges in South Australia, because honestly, that's got to be like one of our most favourite places in all of Australia that we've come across so far.
We thoroughly enjoyed our time throughout the whole Flinders Ranges. It's quite a massive area stretching over 400 kilometres of rugged South Australian outback. We spent roughly 2 weeks exploring the whole Flinders Ranges. We could easily spend more because there is honestly just so much to see.
Yeah, I reckon so. We went in April as well, so right at the start of their kind of prime season to go, which is sort of April to October are your better months to see it, which is sort of like during the cooler months of the year. We got beautiful weather. We had nice sunny days. It was sort of around 30 in the days and sort of low to mid-teens at night. So it was beautiful weather to be going through that whole area and being able to get out. Yeah, get out and hike and explore and four-wheel drive, all of it.
You will need a couple of permits to access various locations throughout the Flinders Ranges. Bianca was one in charge of that, so what permits did we need?
Yeah, we did have to get a parks pass through the South Australia National Parks and Wildlife website. I'm pretty sure they do like an all parks pass for you can get like a couple of days or 30 days or a year. So I'm pretty sure we just got the 30-day pass and timed it for our trip. But just check your route and see where you're planning to go through and just double check what national parks you're going through.
Yeah.
And then also the stations. So any station land that you drive on, generally you have to contact the owners for it. And sometimes they'll charge you a fee to be driving on their tracks, but those are usually designated actual tracks that are maintained and like a little route that you go on.
So some of the best stuff we saw throughout the Flinders, which we'll get into in just a minute, was seen on those private station properties, which we did pay to do those four-wheel drive tracks, which was a bit of a foreign experience for us, actually paying to do four-wheel drive tracks, but well worth it. Look into it, and we would definitely recommend doing some of this.
So don't hesitate to Google them and flick them an email or just give them a call.
So we thought we'd run you through our rough itinerary for our journey through the Flinders from south to north, because honestly I feel like we got to see a little bit of everything and we had a spectacular time. We have narrowed it down to our top 6 absolute favourite things to do, and we'll run you through those in sort of chronological order.
So first on the list at the southern end of the Flinders Ranges is the Horseshoe Rim Station, which is also called Horseshoe Top-End. So this is a paid four-wheel drive track that is situated on their own private station. It costs $50 per vehicle. So obviously that gives you access to all of their four-wheel drive tracks and their beautiful station land that's in there.
Honestly, it was such a great way to get a taste of the Flinders Ranges as well, and kind of what's to come as you make your way north. Some spectacular views, a bunch of awesome four-wheel drive tracks too. They do give you a nice little map to kind of navigate your way through. Pretty suitable for, I'd say, all levels of four-wheel driving experience and pretty much all vehicles, so long as you have a four-wheel drive selector stick in your four-wheel drive or a switch nowadays. So definitely recommend giving it a go. It's a great way to kind of get a sample, and very friendly owners as well.
And they also offer accommodation as well. However, I don't think we actually stayed there in the end because they didn't have room for us. So we ended up staying at another station, Canado Station down the road.
So next up is the thing we're probably looking forward to the most in the whole Flinders Ranges during our planning session, and that was the Skytrek paid four-wheel drive track at the Willow Springs station. Now, this is actually the most expensive four-wheel drive track in the Flinders Ranges at $80 to access it and do their four-wheel drive tracks. But in saying that, it is an absolutely full-day experience, to the point that they actually don't let you start the track if you get there after, is it 10 a.m?
Yeah, 10 a.m. they won't let you start the track if you get there any later, because it just takes that long to go around.
You'll still be full driving at night time. So it's a full-day experience, so you do get a lot for your money in that sense, and there's absolutely so much to see, from their very own little miniature pyramids you get to drive past on the track. There's rustic old station huts, insane ridgeline four-wheel drive track views. It's really good.
It is, it really is. And they also give you a little booklet to drive around because it's a self-guided tour, and they'll actually number every little thing for you to look at. And then the full driving itself was also loads of fun. This track is probably a little bit more difficult than the Horseshoe Top-End. However, in saying that, I think most novice full drivers could still have a go, and they do have some bypass trails if you don't want to risk going up those big hills, but they also give you the best views. So
You can also stay at the Willow Springs station pretty much at the end of the four-wheel drive track, and we'd probably recommend doing that because, as we mentioned, it is a full-day experience, so it is nice to finish the track and then just roll into camp at that same location to stay.
Pretty sure they've got really good amenities there, including washing machines and some nice showers and flushing toilets too.
Yeah, so plan that early and do book it in, because they actually couldn't fit us in when we were going through, so we ended up staying down the road. But if they can squeeze you in, that would definitely be the way to go.
Number 3 on our list is Brachina Gorge. This was probably my favorite place in all of the Flinders, purely because I am an absolute science nerd and I love the history in rocks. I love rocks. I love looking at the rocks and the geology in rocks. And this has a geological trail that gives you over 500 million years of history. It had fossils plus a whole heap of other stuff. So that gorge is absolutely awesome. Fossils can be a little bit hard to spot. Make sure you take a water bottle with you so you can pour it over the rock.
We also got extremely lucky too on that geological trail, getting to see some yellow-footed rock wallabies, which are actually an endangered species you can only see in very few places around Australia, this area being one of them, and we got pretty lucky to see a whole herd of them, a whole group of them feeding in the afternoon, so that was a pretty special experience.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Next up is probably our favourite campsite in the entirety of the Flinders Ranges, which is Parachilna Gorge, which also happens to be a free campsite, which is really nice for us after spending quite a bit of money in the previous days on those paid for drive tracks. This place really is the essence of the Flinders Ranges. It's nice wild country, epic views, nice gorge, heaps of camping options as well. It's also a great spot to kind of base yourself if you are planning to explore further into the Flinders Ranges or ducking back to see Brachina Gorge as well. It's just in a really nice spot, and being free is a massive advantage too.
Next up on our list was to go all the way up to Warraweena Station. Now this is a lesser known one. I was actually looking at 4 drive tracks to do in the Flinders, and this one has an absolute doozy. It is the Mount Gill 4 drive track. It is another paid one. I think we paid $70, but absolutely worth it because man, this track was wicked.
Bit more advanced too in terms of the four-wheel driving itself. I'd say you will need some basic level of experience, as well as some basic mods on your four-wheel drive, good clearance and some good tires as well, because it is quite shaly and quite sharp, the rocks down that way. And my God, the views at the top are absolutely next level. Some of the best, if not the best we saw in the whole Flinders.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, for me, these were better than Skytrek's views.
And part of that is because Mount Gill is actually the second highest peak in the Flinders Ranges.
That's right,
So you get some sensational 360-degree panoramic views. So if you're confident with your four-wheel driving, definitely chuck it on your list because it's definitely worth seeing. As far as the camping is concerned, they do offer a variety of camping options within that Warraweena station as well. Really nice campsites, beautiful views, and some basic amenities too by means of a composting toilet. Last but certainly not least, deep in the Flinders Ranges, you'll find Arkaroola, which we thoroughly enjoyed. It's one of only 2 dark sky sanctuaries in Australia, I'm pretty sure.
And I'm pretty sure it's one of the best in the entire Southern Hemisphere, so
that's
pretty cool.
It is absolutely the place to go if you enjoy stargazing or astrophotography. We also happened to time our visit with a new moon, which meant there was no moon in the sky. It was a clear afternoon, and we saw some of the most spectacular night skies we have ever seen.
But other than that, obviously, there are a ton of other things to do in Arkaroola during the daytime. Everything from like actual tours that you can book daily. There are a few overnight tours where they'll take you up to like the best possible place ever to view the stars and whatnot. But if you're like us and you want to stick to the lower budget stuff, there's also a bunch of like self-guided full drive tours that you can do. You get all the info from the office and they give you like booklets of info and you can just follow those.
And it's all pretty close to where you essentially base yourself. So there's an awesome campground there with showers and decent amenities all around. There's even a restaurant down in the Arkaroola village too. So we ended up spending about 3 or 4 nights there to unwind after our time through the Flinders, and that was just really nice.
So those are our top 6 must-dos. Obviously, the Flinders has like a huge range of stuff that you can see, and we are only just skimming the top. So if you're planning your trip, make sure that you are including everything that you want to see, because what our favorite is might not be what your favorite is. But moving on, we also figured we would go through what gear we took, or at least what we would recommend, having already done this before.
So it kind of goes without saying, but if you're planning on heading to the more remote locations like we did, having some form of like off-grid setup is an absolute must. We were extremely grateful to have our canopy gear and rooftop tent setup. It just meant we could kind of roll into camp pretty late at night, set up in 2 seconds and be comfortable, and that made a big difference for us.
Now, because it is such a remote area out in a lot of the Flinders Ranges, it's really important to have some decent communication gear. So first and foremost, I would recommend having a personal locator beacon or a PLB. We carry one of those everywhere we go on our trips nowadays because you never know what's going to happen, and should an emergency happen and you don't have reception, or you're injured and you can't get reception or something like that, one of those can potentially save your life.
A compressor and tyre deflators are essential as well. You will be dropping your tyres for those four-wheel drive tracks.
Also, having a decent UHF radio is important out there. Not necessarily even if you're just going to remote areas, but pretty much anywhere in outback Australia, or if you're traveling, they're very handy to have because that is your main source of communication out there.
Make sure you definitely have a good first aid kit and a snake bite kit on you at all times. So not only just like in your car, but if you're doing hikes through gorges like we did quite a few of, we made sure we brought those with us. So no matter where we were, we always had that stuff on hand.
Another important thing, because of the remoteness of this area, is the water that you take and your basically your water supplies. So I would advise to take 2 separate supplies of water so that if one gets damaged or gets contaminated, you still have another one to back you up, because there's not a lot of water available in this area, and it's just something that's better to have on you, especially again if something was to go wrong and you get stuck somewhere. Having a decent supply of water is there. So we always had 50-litre tank under the car, or 55-litre tank. We had 20-litre jerry can on the back, and we also had 10 litres of dedicated drinking water in the cab with us.
And the last thing probably to keep in mind would be having some form of offline mapping, whether that's a navigator that's in the car. So we ran a HEMA for our trip. Paper maps as well, never go astray. You can't go wrong with a good paper map.
With a paper map,
they
never go flat.
Some way essentially that when you're out of phone reception, which you will be for most of your time through the Flinders, a way of kind of working out where you are and how to get to where you need to be. Well, that is pretty much everything you need to know about visiting the iconic Flinders Ranges in South Australia and doing it in the more remote style like we love doing with our setup.
What better timing as this rain is starting to set in.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Happy camping.
Thanks for joining us on our trip through the Flinders Ranges, and remember, Anaconda has everything you need to gear up for your own off-road adventure. Be sure to like and subscribe to Anaconda's channel so you don't miss the next stop on our 4-wheel drive bucket list.